What's up, guys? It's Tova, back again with another video, and this time I think I have my OBS settings correct for probably the first time on this computer, but I think it's good to go. And I wanted to just do a video instead of me typing something up and then reading it to you guys. I wanted to just do a video where we look at the chart and just talk about whatever, and then I'll just cut out the ums as I do. You know what I mean? So, I have a short list of things to discuss regarding this eclipse. And I also wanted to mention, firstly, that this recent time period, since we've been in the quote-unquote eclipse portal, has been pretty intense. Like, I just opened this thing. It's been pretty intense, and maybe it's felt like that. The crazy rate at which people are, like, celebrities are dying is kind of wild. It reminds me of in 2016, whenever there were a bunch of celebrities dying, and everybody was like, oh, 2016 is the worst year ever, and, like, everybody's just doing that again. Sorry, I'm screwing around in my chair. You guys are just gonna have to tolerate me being weird, because I'm weird. So, we've been going through a very powerful time period of realignment. I feel like that's the perfect word for this. And less realignment as like a love and light spiritual way, and more like the warning light has come on in your life. You know what I mean? And it's time to like go ahead and actually initiate some changes. Like, I think what's been going on in 2026 is that we have had all of these opportunities that have been showing up in these little pockets of time since the beginning of the year, and it's been like, okay, you now have an opportunity to do X thing. Are you gonna do it? And then some people are like, no, I don't think so. Everything's fine. I'm just gonna keep going the way I've been going. And then some other people are like, okay, yeah, I know it's the right time for me. I'm getting on the boat. And then there's another one and the same thing, and another one and the same thing. It's like waves of initiation is kind of how I'm feeling about it. Just recently, we've had a lot of changes that I think people are still integrating, even though we're like sort of at the point where with some of these, that is over. Like, this whole last Leo season has been just, like, insane to me. And maybe it's because this is the first Leo season with Pluto permanently in Aquarius, but it's just been a really intense time period of the astrology is asking, are you ready to step into your full creative power as an individual? You know, we've had this whole situation with the nodes being in Virgo Pisces for 18 months. And now that they're in Leo and Aquarius, I think that what was just initiated with this past Leo season is now undergoing a longer process of a deeper, more structural transformation. And I'm just glad that Jupiter's in Leo for this, because it's creating this really positive, encouraging sort of thing. I'm also really glad that we're finally to the point where Jupiter is trine Saturn, because if you guys remember back in, what was it, 2021 or 2 or something like that, there was a time period where we were in that Jupiter-Saturn square, and it kind of felt like we didn't have the opportunity to break free or move forward with anything that had to do with, I want to say, going our own way or changing the structure of the plans laid out by the powers that be. I think that, like, we've been seeing the new paradigm out there on the horizon for a long time, but it just hasn't been the right time to take action on certain things yet. And now it's finally time to take those structural actions. In case you've heard incorrectly, the eclipse time period, which is characterized by intense structural initiations, long-term changes, being initiated, sometimes really surprising tower moment upheaval sorts of energies come through during eclipse time. That time period is meeting its halfway point today. Like that is today. That is the halfway point. It's not over after this, because the entire lunar cycle starts with the new moon, hits the middle point at the full moon, and then there's the waning phase. So what we've been doing during the eclipse portal up until now has been going along the waxing part of the lunar cycle and facing those initiation checkpoints. Does that make sense? Like, if you've seen on my blog, on my website, I'll put it up on the screen over here on top of the chart really quick, my hero's lunar journey thing. That diagram lays out those steps. The new moon is the intention, it is the call to adventure. And then the waxing crescent, we go through two different things when the moon is going from the new moon to the first quarter. The first of which is the doubt, the fear, the I'm not sure if this is the right thing. I'm not sure if I made the right choice in what I wanted to do. Stuff like that. And then we meet a section of the waxing phase of the lunar cycle in which we are invited to move forward. We get that reassurance. We get that sense of encouragement from the universe that it's time to go ahead and move forward with something. And then when we're ready to initiate, we get that test of resolve at the first quarter. So if you think back, the moon was right at the beginning of Sagittarius. This was back on August 20th, which was 1 week ago today. Did something happen? Was there a bit of a struggle for you on that particular day that was pertaining to whatever your intention was related to? What was your test of resolve? It's important that we start recording what these things are and remembering what they are, because it's important when we get to this full moon point, because that is the culmination of that effort. That is the expression of that effort. What happened then after the first quarter was we got a little bit more of a loose rein from the universe, it felt like. Like you were able to move forward with something, feel that momentum. For me, what I ended up doing was creating a ton of products. You can see back here, these are some ritual kits that I'm making. I felt like I had really broken through that momentary test of, oh, are you sure? And during an eclipse time, it's even more potent when that test comes through at the first quarter, because you're breaking through a cycle that's old, a cycle that was put into place long ago, potentially years ago. And it's coming up and it's saying, are you ready to let go for the sake of creating the new thing in the future? And there's little bits of that, with every lunar cycle, but with what we have going on with this eclipse, there's so much going on that is both structurally, I want to say like ground shaking, or it has like a dismantling energy to it. But there's also an encouragement and a flowingness to this chart. What is important to do before the full moon is it's important to release your attachment to the outcome of whatever the situation is. And that's just a good practice to have in general, because it releases you from the stress of worrying about, oh, is this thing going to happen in the exact way that I wanted it to happen? I need this to be this way, otherwise I'm not going to feel very good about this, or something like that. It's important to just get rid of that energy and just be like, you know what? I'm going to decide instead to feel gratitude that I even get to experience this cycle at all. And I know that that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when you're in the middle of it, but trust me, it is a mechanism of hitting like the release valve on all of this pressure buildup throughout the first half of the lunar cycle, so that right before you hit this full moon point, which is characterized by a large amount of emotional weight, a large amount of feeling like you're not in control, feeling like you don't have a handle on your situation anymore or on your intention anymore, that you are kind of being forced to give up. If you consciously do that beforehand and make that a part of your plan, you are going to have a much more successful time when you get to that full moon and you're not sitting there like in an emotional wreck. And I think that that's part of why when the full moon comes around, especially a full moon like this, which is in Pisces, which is just like it hits you with a wall of emotional intensity that you feel like you're not really in control of anymore. You know how Pisces is. I forgot what the point of my sentence was. Sometimes I have problems where I will say a whole sentence. Like, I'll say the whole thing, and then I'll like try to wrap back around to whatever I was talking about, and I'm like, huh? What are they talking about? And I think that that is some sort of a weird trauma response. Like, it's some kind of a weird like burnout thing. And like, sometimes my brain will just like go completely blank, and I don't understand why that is, but it is what it is, YouTube. It is what it is, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, what we're about to go into is this waning cycle, which the whole point of me going off on this tangent is to, and don't mind me, I'm screwing around with this thing in my hand. I don't know if you can hear me going like this, but I gotta have something to play with or I don't even know what I'm doing. So, otherwise I'll start touching my hair and then I won't stop. It's bad. It's so bad. This is why I never show my face. This is why I never record, like, just me going off the cuff about something, because it turns into this. It just turns into this. Like, I don't know. I don't know, bro. But anywho, the whole point of me going off on this tangent about the lunar cycle thus far is to just simply let you know that it's not over. We've only gone halfway through. So what's happening right now today is that this is the expression of the intention that you set. So it's time to evaluate, like, okay, did I get to a point with whatever the intention was that I succeeded? I can give you an example from what my intention was, which was to not let my past control my future anymore. I know, that's a heavy one, but it's a damn eclipse. What do you think I'm gonna do? You know, not do an intense intention? So that's what I did. Like I was saying, whenever I got to that trine of the wax and gibbous phase from that new moon point, I did experience that flow state where I was able to actually get some things done. And in that flow state, there is this feeling of, you know, I am grateful. I do release attachment to outcome. And now that I'm at the culmination phase, personally, I'm at a period in my lady time cycle where I just want to go like this, like all day long and not do anything, but I'm doing this instead. Even so, I would say that yes, I do feel satisfied with that, because I decided to take actions during that first part of the lunar cycle that was able to make my intention a reality, in that I focused on making my products, I focused on my booth design for the craft fairs that I'm going to be going to, and I'm very pleased. What's going to happen next is that there's going to be another little moment of adjustment that happens after this, where the answer is going to be to just continue to let it go. Just be like, I'm satisfied with my thing that I did, and now I would like to just sit in a place of gratitude. And that's very much what this Virgo energy is about too. So that actually lines up quite well. And that's actually the next step that kind of occurs with the waning gibbous phase, where we have that culmination experience with the full moon, and then we just release, understand that now it's time to recalibrate, understand that now it's time to express gratitude, and then we come to the last quarter and we surrender. We consciously surrender to, whatever feelings come up, whatever stress might come up, whatever weird stuff might start happening. We need to remember when this last quarter comes that we're in the middle of a very powerful, we're almost done with a very powerful cycle, and that our focus should be on integrating everything that we've experienced. The last quarter, sometimes when you hit that surrendering point, they call it the crisis in consciousness point, you get this opportunity to, almost like Hanged Man card, like forcibly slow down and prepare for this integration period that is the waning crescent. During that integration period, and during that period of stillness, and during the dark moon, we think, okay, we've completed this cycle, and now it's time to begin anew. And whenever we begin anew, at the next new moon, that will be the true closure of the eclipse cycle. So that's just a general understanding of what this cycle is, how we're moving through it, and how to sort of best go through that cycle. And now I'm going to actually talk about the astrology. Here's what we got going on. So firstly, we are having Mercury conjunct the sun during this eclipse within, a degree or so. Actually, within less than a degree, because what is that? 21? 54? Now, it's a little bit slightly off. It's slightly off. However, remember that Barbal's basket, as Leo King calls it, shout out to the Leo King, one of my greatest inspirations, the Leo King. Remember that this 4-degree point is activating those points that were going on with the basket. Now, if you remember the basket, it was here, 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 and here, yeah? So it was this opposition point, and then these sextiles. So what is happening with these points now? So I'm going to very quickly switch my color to red so I can show you guys. Well, actually, let's switch it to yellow. How about? So it's a little bit easier to see. So what we have going on is this activation where Uranus is still involved. And then there's this T-square happening between this point and this point and this point. In addition to that, we also have this yod, which for some reason nobody's mentioning this yod. I don't really understand. Or some people are not mentioning this yod when I feel like they should probably know about it. I'm like, hello, it's a very clear yod. It's like not a fake yod where you just have like a weird point or an angle or something. It's like, this is like a true planet yod. The first point that I'm trying to make is that these major points that are being activated by this eclipse are triggering this larger, long-term situation regarding deep structural change in your life and deep structural change in the world. So the question is, how does your chart fit in? How do you fit in? How is it hitting your chart? Now, if you've got planets and stuff at these points, you are being asked to make a very important decision regarding how you want to move forward structurally in your life. How are you going to change your daily routine, Virgo, in order to get past whatever these surprise upheavals have been with Uranus at these first degrees of Gemini and what's been going on? Like, what does Gemini represent in our lives? Well, it's our local environment. It's who we talk to every day. It's the technology that we use. So what's been happening? Everything has been taken over by the AI. I don't know if you guys have noticed this about the AI, but the AIs are getting shittier. Like, they don't remember things as well. They don't give you factual information. They lie to you. They just apologize over and over again when they get something wrong, and then it takes a long time to get it to go back to a point where it can fix whatever it was that you were trying to talk to it about. And I think that it's showing that at some point soon, there's going to be a noticeable decline in the quality of these products that so much of the world has placed all of this certainty of the future on. And I think that Virgo coming up like this is actually showing up in its full power, because the nodes are now out of the Virgo Pisces axis. Virgo has just gone through a year and a half of very intense letting go of these dark sides of Virgo, like perfectionism, maybe being really picky. I think Virgo can be a little too overgiving as well, and not really self-serving enough when it's kind of required, and this is coming from an Aries, LOL. And I think that Virgo is really stepping into its power right now. And yes, this moon is in Pisces, but when you have an astrological sign, the sign that is opposing it is a mirror. It's a mirror, and it's like a magnifying glass, especially in a situation like this, where you have this yod with these two outer planets and this midpoint of them, which is being triggered by the moon, and it's shooting this beam of energy across the sky to this Sun and Mercury. And the Sun and Mercury being conjunct always means that we have some kind of a new understanding about some way that we are emanating, some way that we are showing up. And in Virgo, the way that we're showing up is we're showing up organized, we're showing up with a plan, we're showing up with a mission where we know exactly what steps we need to take to move forward. The information that we're being given, I feel that with this T-square, sometimes you can't necessarily trust it. And when you can't trust the information that's on the surface, what do? You have to go within. You have to use your discernment. You have to sometimes even connect to that universal consciousness and be like, please guide me to the right way. Show me a sign. This is the moon where, like, if you want to be shown a sign for something, tonight is the night to ask. Now, we do have a loose trine from Chiron, and I'm gonna erase my lines really quick. We do have a loose trine from Chiron. The true trine is to this south node, but we do have a loose trine to this Sun-Mercury conjunction. And we've been in a time period with Chiron where we've had this sextile to the North Node that just went into Aquarius. And Chiron in Taurus has been showing us all about where we have this horrible scarcity mindset. Oh, I'm scared of running out of money. Oh, I'm scared of not having some sort of a material wealth factor. I'm scared of not knowing what my values are. I'm scared of not knowing where the beauty is in my life or not appreciating it. I'm worried that no one appreciates the beauty in me. Those are the kinds of things that Chiron in Taurus has been bringing up, and it's only at 0 degrees. But it's intense here at the beginning of a sign because it's showing us exactly what is kind of like on the docket to be healed. And with this positive aspect, this loose sextile trine and this strong sextile trine to the nodes, the loose sextile trine to the dang eclipse. This is a situation where we are being given these gifts of opportunity to refute this Chiron wound. It's kind of a huge wake-up call to be like, hey, hello, it's not as bad as you think. It's time to focus on moving forward. It's time to focus on taking those necessary steps to revolutionize the way that we think about scarcity. I just think that's a really big theme that we're going through right now. with the square to Uranus, because having a big T-square like this and it being like the strongest quote-unquote negative aspect in the whole chart, to me it's a hesitation to take that risk still that some people might have. It's also a frustration because squares always represent frustration. Like, no matter how you try to spin it, it's always a frustrating aspect, especially a T-square. I would know. I have a T-square in my chart. But it's a frustrating aspect where I think that some of us are being asked to change our local environment comfort zone. I'm just going to say it. I think that it's a situation where too many times people have been given opportunities to break out of the structure that they hate, the job that they hate, the relationship that they hate, something like that. With that kind of me mentioning relationship, it kind of points me over to this Venus in Virgo that just got done with this opposition to Saturn, which was this huge wake-up call of like, hello, are you going to do this or not? Are you going to structurally take care of this stuff or not? Are you going to move forward with the things that you want out of your life or not? And now, during this moon, it is making this pretty strong sextile to Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, which is asking us to go beyond in our way of thinking about the big picture of what we desire out of our life. You might encounter a person or a situation that is kind of a rebellious vibe or rebellious attitude, and you think, man, I wish I could be like that person. Man, I wish I could take that risk. Well, why can't you? And it's because you're scared of the upheaval. It's because you're scared of the surprise. You don't want to see a surprise. That's what this Uranus T-square is about. See, I came back around to it. I came back around to what I was going to talk about. We've got some other aspects here that I'm seeing that are going to show up in a weird way soon, which is we're going to have Mars squaring Saturn. And we're just starting that square. With Mars in Cancer, Mars is going to lose in that battle. It's a situation where you don't want to be in an overly volatile emotional state while you're trying to make these structural changes, because it's just not going to go well. And I think that we're getting just a little taste of what is to come with that. However, we do have this Jupiter in Leo that is just about to make this exact trine to Saturn, which is, I believe, the first of 3. This is that Mars square I was talking about. And this is that Black Moon Lilith and Venus sextile I was talking about. I was yapping so much I forgot to draw. The Jupiter-Saturn trine is showing us a very powerful open door to taking that idea that you came up with during Leo season. Taking that the things that I want are attainable thing that you felt this year that you wanted to accomplish, and actually taking the structural steps to be able to make that happen. And I don't care if Saturn's retrograde. Some people are going to be like, oh, well, Saturn's retrograde, so you can't do anything. That, to me, doesn't make sense. I think that when Saturn's retrograde, it's actually a great time to take care of stuff. If you're a little bit more of an introverted person, if you like to do things a little bit slower, if you like to take time to really get things correct, Saturn retrograde is a great time to do that. I did want to mention that the Venus retrograde in Scorpio is coming up, and the Venus retrograde in Scorpio that I remember the most is the one in 2018. Remember that with Venus retrogrades, that whenever Venus goes retrograde, or right before it, when it's in its shadow phase, you will probably have some inkling to do something romantically stupid that doesn't make any sense. I implore you to not try to act on that, because it will not go well for you. That's just my general warning for that. Don't get yourself into a situation romantically or financially, for that matter. Like, if, let's say, you're in a relationship you don't really like for some reason. Happens to a lot of people. And you're just in it for some reason. And you're still there. And your significant other, who you don't really have any interest in staying with, but you're staying with them for some ridiculous reason, is like, yeah, what do you say we combine our finances in some sort of a joint venture. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess that sounds good. And you don't even really think it through, or maybe you're distracted, or maybe you're just not interested in going into your depth in any way about this, and you're just sort of keeping things surface level because you're afraid or something like that. Or you're putting on some kind of a strong front or something when really, like, deep in the core of yourself, you don't want to do that, and you just go along with it. Or the other situation that could happen to people during that type of retrograde in Scorpio is that you suddenly feel a very intense attraction to someone or something that you never felt before in your life, but it feels so exhilarating and interesting to you that you just have to latch onto it. And then after the retrograde's over, you're like, what the hell was I thinking? Why did I do that? So that's just my little warning to anybody who's conscious about astrology, that like that's coming, and to just be aware. Now, I think I have pretty much covered all the aspects. We'll see. This is going to be kind of a longer video, obviously. And what I kind of want to do is I want to do a little bit of a card pull. Is that weird? You want me to go get my cards? You think it'll be fun? Okay, I'm gonna go get my card. All right, here's the first deck that I grabbed. This is the Orion's Animal Tarot with the shiny sides. Let's get us a card for the Eclipse. Here we go. Looks like we got two. Ace of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. So this is a situation where we want to feel that interesting, fun, emotional fulfillment. And I think that, honestly, if I'm being real, that's going to come from this having your shit together with Virgo, the Virgo energy. Having your plan written down, having a list. Then we're dealing with this scarcity mindset. We feel like we're all alone. The only thing that could possibly guide us is something that's far and away. Like this, like the moon. The far and away Pisces moon. That emotional feeling, that's going to guide us. That's going to take us through this strange time of feeling like we don't have anything and we're worthless. Did Leo season not teach you anything? You are worth it. And until you realize that you're worth it, you're still going to be feeling like this, all alone, out there with nobody to help you until you show up and be that Ace of Cups yourself. Fill up your own cup. Don't try to rely on other things outside of you. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. The Star card is on the bottom of the deck. We are very much being shown that it is time to believe that all the preparation that you've done, all of the work that you've done to be able to get to this point has been for a purpose. And this scarcity mindset, feeling like you don't have anyone or anything that can help you, that is not real. The thing about the Five of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite is that it implies that you have a choice to be the victim, or, like in our tarot reading for the week, be the victim or be the creator of your life. Ties back into our reading for this week. I think that's pretty good. I think it's important to remember, at the very least, that this is a long-term change that's occurring within you right now. And that you might not see the result immediately. You legitimately might have a situation where you just don't feel any different for like 6 months. The lunar cycle is all about how you use it. It's all about how you program what you do and when to be able to take advantage of the certain types of energy that are available to you at that particular moment in time. No obligation. No obligation. So I hope you enjoyed this style of video. Let me know in the comments if you did or you didn't. I was kind of tired of like feeling like I was just reading off of a script, and I just wanted to kind of rattle off some information that I thought you guys might want to know about regarding this moon. The other thing about this moon that I forgot about, actually, is that tonight, if you go outside, if you are Central Time, it's going to be at about, like, just after 11 p.m. If you go outside and look almost completely straight up and the sky is clear, you will see the moon turn red, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of those before, but it's been a very long time since I've seen a lunar eclipse, so I'm going to try to see it. Unusual to be able to see one of those and have it not be like the most sinister eclipse of all time, because there's some eclipses that just have a weird sinister energy about them. Like that one, I think it was like January of 2020, there was like the blood wolf moon or whatever, and everybody was talking about it, and then everybody knows what happened after that. So this moon is not like that. This moon has the energy of there are two guards standing in front of a door. One of them is like a riddle master, and you have to solve his ridiculous riddle to get through. And the other one is a benevolent, motherly sort of creature, and all you have to do is believe in yourself to get through. And as long as you can do both of those things, doors open. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting off of this, just looking at the chart in general, like it's an overall energy. There's like a loose grand trine happening with like Black Moon Lilith involved with Jupiter and Saturn, which to me that kind of just emphasizes it's time to do something you've never done before. It's time to take that risk that you've been wanting to take for a long time, but you were too scared to do it because you were too afraid of failing. This is not a time to put stuff off because you're afraid of failing. This is the time to step outside of your comfort zone, even if you don't think it's going to work. This is the time to approach frustration with a sense of curiosity instead of dread. And I know that's really hard to do. I think that you're going to find that the result of making that commitment to yourself is going to really be worth it come 6 months from now at the next eclipse cycle. So just remember that the waning cycle is still part of the eclipse portal, and that until that new moon in Virgo, I mean it's going to be a new moon in Virgo. Until that new moon in Virgo comes, we are still in the eclipse energy. So crazy fated things can happen. Unexpected changes are possible. Things from a long time ago might be showing up and being like, hey, time to take care of this now. It's also the Saturn retrograde energy. But I'm going to get on out of here. Hopefully I gave you guys enough information that you have something to go off of. And yeah, just let me know if you like this video format. I am making some various changes to my website. Within the next week or two, I'm going to have a bunch of products available on there that you can purchase. There's going to be some witchcraft supply. There's going to be some jewelry. And it really depends on how much I sell out of at the craft fair that I'm going to. But if I end up having a lot of products left over, it should be pretty easy to grab one off of my website if that is something that you'd be interested in. And I'm probably going to do a couple of videos that show what those products are so you can kind of see what's going on. Maybe I'll do like a bit of a vlog at the craft fair, because those are fun. All right, I think that's about it. I hope you guys have a good full moon eclipse. Burn some kind of incense and hold it up to the moon as an offering or something. That's something I used to do a lot. Frankincense and myrrh resin, hold it up. And just try to be in a state of gratitude, and just know that like the direction that you want to go in your life is supported right now, even if it doesn't necessarily feel like it. Just kind of like sort of internalize that energy of like, yes, you know, this is what I want to do. This is the path that I've chosen. This is what I'm interested in. This is what I'm focused on. And as long as you stay in that energy and just keep holding that, and don't let this frustration of the Uranus T-square like take you out of that sort of excitement for the future, then you are going to be just fine and everything is going to be so great. So if you have any questions about anything, if you want kind of a more in-depth discussion with me about your own particular situation, I do have readings available on my website, and in case you were on my website and you tried to purchase something and it didn't work, I did fix that. So go and check that out if you're interested. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Comment. I like reading your comments, so please do that. And I will talk at you later. Bye-bye.